I'm Ron Kirchgessner from Peoria, Illinois, and I portray Dr. Conover, who is from Morgan County. He is the regimental surgeon for the 108th Illinois, which is out of Metamora, Illinois. We're here today at the reenactment. This is the 108th. We do surgeries here. We do take care of the patients here. To do an operation, it's very easy. We get our patients in here. We will put them under chloroform, and then we will do some amputations. Basically, to do an amputation, Dick, you can be my assistant. We would start off with the tourniquet. The tourniquet would be placed on the arm to control the bleeding. Once that's done, we give them chloroform, put them to sleep. We administer as much as we need, put him to sleep. Once I think he's under control, give me a knife.
Which one you want?
Just any one of them.
Any of them? Yeah. We'll give you this.
All right, we would then take, if we're going to cut his hand off, we would then make a circular cut completely around the wrist, all the way down to the bones. Once that's done, we take our saw, and we would then cut the rest of the bones off until the hand is removed. At that point, give me the curved tenaculum. The curved tenaculum inside the small box there. Yep, go down there, 4 up, there you go. You got it. Nope, tenaculum. There.
Oh, that's...
Yeah. Once we had the hand off, we would then take each artery or veins and tie them off and make sure they are surgically done. Once that is done, we take a bandage and we put them over the bandage, and then we send them to a general hospital. At that point, they're to recover. Now,
I'm an ambulance corps. I would take the patients to the hospital. I would also pick up the patients off the battlefield and bring them to the hospital.
Another surgery. Pardon?
Would you ever cauterize them?
They used to cauterize them prior to the Civil War, but that did so much damage to the wounds that it was unnecessary during the time. That's why they started stitching them shut. Because the cauterization would burn the skin and it also cause more problems for infection. Which we didn't know anything about infection, but it would cause more problems because of the burning of the skin. And that they decided to stop that. That's why we started stitching. Give me the horsehair. Horsehair.
No.
Now, if we ran out of our stitching, we did have stitching walking around here. All we have to do is go to a horse's tail, and we big at a horse's tail. Now, this here would be unusable in this condition. What we'd have to do to it is we'd have to boil it. And when we boiled it, it made it sanitary, which we never knew about sanitation. But when we boiled it, it would make it more pliable to become stitches. You know. Now, if you were shot between the belly button and the chest area, this is considered a gut shot wound. And that at that point, then we couldn't do anything for you. Then you were considered dead. You know, if you would put you aside by a tree, give you some pain reliever, and then let you go. And after I did all my surgeries, if you were still alive, I would experiment on you and see if I could save you, if there was a possibility. The other surgery that we would do, this guy's already had it for the week and he's falling apart, is what we call a trephination. If this gentleman was hit in the head by a gun or a bullet, his head would have bleeding on the brain. And so in order to relieve the pressure on that, because once the blood pools up in the brain, it crushes the brain, and we don't want that to happen. So what we would do first is this one here we would do while he's awake, because we want to make sure we are not going to damage his brain. We will raise his hand up above his head as much as if he's laying down, it'll be straight up. The reason for that is once I start cutting into him, if I hit a nerve or something, it will slowly make his hand go down, and then we know we've done some damage. But I would make a U-shaped cut, like a little flap of skin, pull the flap over. I would take a trephine, and I would drill a hole in his head. and that would relieve the pressure. Now this would stay open for about 2 or 3 days while it drains. I can put the flap back over the hole if I want, if I don't have anything else. If not, I can take a coin, put a coin over the hole, and then put his flap over that. And then you can say he's worth something.
He's awake the whole time.
Yes.
Oh.
Because the moment I start drilling into it, if I hit a nerve in the brain, it will tell me why his hand is drawn. And then I can tell if I hit something.
Couldn't he just be asleep and his hand would go?
He might pass out, but he should be almost awake during the whole time. So that's the 2 main surgeries that were done at this time after the battles. Now, if he had a bullet wound and didn't break the bones, then we would just pull the bullet out and plug the hole and bandage him up. So we would use I have a bullet probe. You can't get the bullet probe out right now. But I would have a probe that would stick down in there that I could feel around to see if I could find the bullet. And I could tell how much it is. Then I would reach in and pull the bullet out. But that's one of the main things. Give me the bullet. This is the mini ball. It's a 58 caliber bullet. When it hits the human body, it's made out of real soft lead. So that's what it does. It hits in flats. Give me the picture, the first one over there. That's the first one.
This one?
Yeah. This is an actual femur from a Civil War soldier that they had. This is what the damage you can see. The difference between this and the prior battles is because between the Revolutionary time period and up to the Civil War, they used a round ball. The muskets are all smooth bore, which means the ball would come out on a straight angle and just go 300 or 400 yards. If it hits you, it's going to bounce around. The muskets, if you look at this one here, it's got rings on it. The rings is there because the musket is called a rifling inside. What that does, it creates a spin on this. As the bullet is traveling down that long barrel, it spins. It can go about 1,500 yards. So it's got a lot of impact. So that's what it does. Not only do you, when we do the bullet extractions or whether we do the amputation or whatever, you got to remember too, whatever he has on him, a watch, a ring, anything will go in with it. I mean, if he gets hit here, this button's going to smash and go inside him too. If he has a pocket watch, boom, right inside. So you're going to have a lot of other things. The Civil War doctors did the best they could with what knowledge they had. One of the things that we didn't know about was sanitation. We did not wash our hands or our instruments between patients. One thing, I'm not trying to be gross, but one thing is, as you know nowadays, if you have an open wound, you get pus coming out of it. There are 2 kinds of pus in the Civil War. One's clear pus, one's bloody pus. If it's a clear pus, we save that and give it to somebody else. We thought that was a healing compound of the body. But if it's bloody pus, we knew that we got problems. We try to get our patients within 24 hours before gangrene sets in. Once you get gangrene set in, it's a real rough time for the soldier. And you do get other complications. You can get pneumonia, you can get sepsis, you can get a few other things that will also deter from your health.